What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna give it a few seconds, guys. Let everybody get the notifications that we are here live. Remember, guys, we are here every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. It's our Teaching Tuesday segments. Y'all know how we do it. All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Y'all know I only have about 20, 25 minutes before my ADD kicks in and stuff. So I'm gonna jump right into it. I want to say thank you all for joining me. Today is Teaching Tuesday. You know, the day that we discuss all things insurance, including health insurance, life insurance, Medicare, and retirement planning. And I am your host and your teacher, John Davis, your personal insurance advisor. So, guys, listen. $19,669. Okay? If you're in Tennessee, I'm gonna drop those numbers. Still having problems with this light, I see. So I'm gonna say it again: $19,669. And if you're in Texas, $19,669. If you are in Tennessee, $12,481. Okay? If you're in Tennessee, $12,481. And I know y'all are wondering, what am I talking about? Why is John giving us these crazy numbers? Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. But before we get started, guys, there is a few things that sorry, y'all. There's a couple of things that I need you all to do for me. Three things, actually. I need you to like my videos because I like to see the likes and it gets me more views and stuff. Secondly, I need you all to share my videos because the information we giving, guys, is breaking news and we need to share it with the masses. Gene, welcome. You're not that late. You're only 2 minutes in. And I'm having issues with my lights today, so it's okay. And then third, guys, I need you all to remember this is a fully interactive platform. You all can send me questions, emojis, all that stuff. I see when you come in the room, so I can talk to y'all. So y'all got to keep me motivated because I don't have Ben here with me today. Okay, so listen, if I say something that you want to know more about, shoot me a message right here and I can see it. Just like Gene said, he's late. He's not really that late, but he's here. So make emojis, motivate me, okay? So guys, listen, we are here every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. And to those new viewers that I have, I would like to say thank you all so much for coming in. I look forward to you all coming back and giving you all some good information, okay? So listen, guys, $19,669 if you're in Texas. If you're in Tennessee, $12,481. And I'm going to break those numbers down. Basically, guys, those are the numbers. That's the cost of a funeral in Texas. In Texas, the average cost of a funeral is $19,669. And if you are in Tennessee, the average cost for a funeral is $12,481. And that leads us to our hot topic today. So, guys, today, we're going to talk about getting insurance for our elderly mom and dad, but we're going to take it a little further, okay? And we're going to also talk about getting insurance for those people that we may be responsible for the funeral costs, okay? That's our cousins, our uncles, our brothers, our sisters, our parents, all these people that if something happened to them, we're going to be responsible for the cost, okay? That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, it's been a long day. Y'all know me by now. I'm taking this tie off. Okay? So here we go. So listen, guys. I've been getting a lot of questions about people asking, John, can I get insurance for my mom? Right? My mom is older. She needs life insurance and she does not have any. Can I get it for her? And then I've also had situations where people say, I want to get life insurance on my dad, but he just won't follow through. He won't sign the papers. He won't answer the phone calls for the exam and all of that stuff. So this is a real issue because if something happens to our parents or sometime our siblings, Wanda, thank you so much. Sometimes we have to be responsible for the funeral costs. So the question is, if I have a sibling who, if something were to happen to them, I'm going to be responsible. What do I do? Right? So we know that there's about three different things that we can do. And y'all, I'm moving because this light is acting up, so I don't want it to think that I'm not in here. Okay, and turn off. So there's three things that we can do, y'all. We have three options that I've kind of concluded when it comes to paying for funeral costs. The first one is we can fundraise, which is what a lot of people do. They sell fish plates. They do the GoFundMe thing. It's usually very stressful because remember, guys, if you're in Texas, the average funeral cost is $19,669. If you're in Tennessee, average funeral cost is about $12,000. So trying to raise that within a week or two is a pretty difficult thing to do. Okay, so we know crowdfunding is the first option, GoFundMe, things like that. We have maybe some type of where we can pass the basket around and ask family members to give us a few $100s until we get to the 19,000. Or guys, we can just get life insurance on that person. Okay. The easiest way, of course, is to get life insurance on my parents, right? On my brother, on my sister. If they don't have any, I can get it for them. And then if something happens, I can use those funds to pay for the funeral costs. Now, the question, guys, is who can get insurance on me and who can I get insurance on? Okay, that's a question that I hear a lot of people ask. They say, well, who can get insurance on me? Does somebody have insurance on me and I don't know? Does somebody, have somebody taken out life insurance on me? So the question is, guys, in order for you to get insurance on someone else, you have to have what's called insurable interest. Okay, that's important. To my people that's writing this down, remember insurable interest. And what insurable interest means is basically if something happens to this person, I'm going to be financially impacted. Okay, so let's think about who would be considered someone that has insurable interest in my life, right? So I have kids. So maybe my children's mom, right? She has insurable interest. My kids, because if something happens to me, they're going to be financially impacted. What about my parents, right? They have insurable interest because if something happens to me, they may have to bury me and pay for funeral costs. So they have insurable interest. They'll suffer a loss if something happens to me. Well, let's think about it. Who else has insurable interest on you? Okay. Eugene, Felicia, Brandon, to some of my viewers, I want you to think about this. Who has insurable interest on you or in you? That means if something happens to you today, who's going to be responsible and who's going to be impacted by your demise or your death? Okay. I would say your kids, your spouse, maybe some family members, maybe depending on your job, the type of job you have, they may suffer. Okay. It's a number of different things. Maybe churches. If I belong to a church and I'm a major contributor, I tithe, and something happens to me, the church may suffer financially because of my death, right? So the church can have insurable interest on my life as well. So as long as you can show insurable interest, you can get insurance or you can take out an insurance policy on someone else. Now, just to put it in context, the question is, can I get life insurance on my parents or my siblings that don't have insurance that I'm going to be responsible for? Okay. So when we think about that, we already know that we have insurable interest in our parents as well as them having insurable interest in us. Okay. But now let's ask ourselves, guys, or the question I'm going to answer is, what type of insurance is available in a case where we're just simply trying to cover the cost of funerals? Now, let's get this very clear, guys, okay? I am not at all suggesting that you all go get insurance on your ex-husband, all these people that may not be really connected to you. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you would suffer a financial loss based on someone's passing, then you have the right to get insurance on that person. But now the amount of insurance is going to be the deciding factor, because most companies won't allow you to get insurance on someone else for huge amounts without them agreeing to it, right? So if something happens to a sibling that I've gotten insurance on, it's easy to get the $10,000 policy, right? The $15,000 final expense policy. Those are easy to get because those are used for funeral expenses. But now it's kind of difficult for you to go to it or come to me and say, I want to take out $500,000 on my mom, right? Or on my cousin. Because if something happens to them, I'm going to be financially responsible. Well, in that case, I'm going to ask, well, why do you need $500,000 on your cousin, right? So when we look at this type of insurance to cover funeral expenses and things like that, ideally we're looking at what's called a final expense life insurance policy, okay? Those aren't huge amounts. Most of the time the limit's around $30,000 depending on the carrier, okay? But your mom, your uncle, your cousins, your spouse, they still have to agree to get the policy. You can't go do it behind their back. Remember, we need to be very careful that we're being honest and truthful on the applications that we submit. And most of the applications are going to ask you, they're going to ask some medical questions. And at the end of that medical report and questions, it's going to also say, sign here that you answered the questions correctly. Now, I love my brother. My brother loves me, my sister, and my parents, all of us. But I don't know their personal health situation. Okay. There's things that I may know, like I may know, well, he may take high blood pressure, but I don't know the numbers, right? If he had some type of medical condition that is not spoke about as a family, then it's impossible for me to answer the underwriting questions, okay? And many of the underwriting questions are going to ask about HIV, it's going to ask about cancer, it's going to ask about high blood pressure, it's going to ask you about drug usage. Those questions need to be answered by the individual that's getting insured, okay? That's important. So if you have a mom and a dad, sibling, cousin, if you want to take insurance out on them, you need to ask them to fill out the paperwork, meet with me, the agent, and let's sit down and let's answer the questions correctly. Okay? Don't just fill it out yourself and sign a name, because ideally signing a name is insurance fraud. You can't do that anyway. But you want to make sure that that person is there to answer your questions or the questions on the application. Okay? So now when we look at final expense insurance, final expense is a whole life policy. Okay, that means, remember we talked about this before, it lasts your whole entire life. It never ends. So those policies they're usually more expensive. So what you would normally get as $100,000 term policy or $200,000 term policy, depending on your age, $30 or $40 a month, it may be 60 or 70, maybe more, for that $10,000 burial policy, final expense policy. Burial and final expense, the same thing. So keep in mind, when we're looking at cost, whole life policies and final expense policies are more expensive than the policies that we're getting 30-year terms and maybe from our employer. Okay, so keep that in mind. What many people do is, if you have a parent that needs life insurance, maybe the 3 siblings get together or the 2 siblings get together and split the cost. Because many times at our parents' age, 70s or 80s, they can't afford that final expense insurance anymore. It's just too expensive. So, get together with your siblings and maybe work out a payment arrangement where I pay one month, they pay the next month, my brother pays the next month, and then I pick it up. Because ideally, if something happens to our parents, all of us are going to be responsible. Okay, so that's a way, just a little tip to cut costs. Okay, so there's three types of applicants, guys, that we're looking at when we're looking at when we filling out these life insurance applications. Okay, um, and I want to have a clear understanding of what they mean. Okay, you have the insured. That's the person that's getting that the insurance is taken out on, right? So my sister took out insurance on me. I'm the insured, okay? But because she took out the insurance, she's the owner of that policy. That means she's the only one that can cash it out. She's the only one that can make changes to the beneficiaries and all of that, okay? Only she can. So I'm the insured. She's the owner because she's the one that got the policy. The beneficiary, guys, the beneficiary is the person that will receive the funds to cover the funeral expenses. And when I say receive the funds, actually get the funds deposited into their account or the check written to them. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then last, we have the payer. Okay, so we have four people usually. We have the insured, who that I'm the insured, they're taking insurance on me. Then you have the owner of the policy, the person that started the policy. Then we have the beneficiary. That's the person that ideally will receive the funds to cover whatever expenses there are. And then lastly, we have the payer, and that person is probably going to be the person that's making the monthly payments. Okay. So keep that in mind. Guys, I just wanted to kind of go over this really quick. Some media outlets talk about the hot topics, right? We talk about the hot topics. I talk about the insurance hot topics, and this is a hot topic that I wanted to definitely cover. So y'all know we're getting to the point, and I guess we've already gotten there where the baby boomers are aging into that Medicare 60 and up age range, okay? And most of my viewers, I'm going to say, are between the ages of 30 and 70. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Um, but there are a few things that I want us to be very clear that we should do to kind of prepare to be an asset and a protector to our parents or older siblings, right? And it's important that we are well organized and understand our siblings, our parents, financial situation. Okay. I talked a couple of weeks ago, and Miss Debbie, I know you mentioned it to me at the pop up about the red folder, right? The red folder is a place where you can put your information and it makes it the process clear, right? I have my medical doctor, a list of my medications. I have my life insurance there. I have my will there. I have my banking information, my bank accounts there. And I just kind of let my family know, or close friends, if something happens to me, that's all that information is in the folder. Okay. So as children, I want us to be aware and make it a priority to let our family know that I want to be active in what's going on with you. I want to understand your Medicare. I want to understand your medical conditions, right? I want to know what medications you take. I want to know your doctors. I want to know if you have life insurance. I want to know your banking information. And then as a family, we can solve a problem if there is one, like a lack of insurance or inability to pay for medications and things like that. Okay. So, hey, remember, y'all, this is fully interactive. Y'all have any questions for me? Because I've been getting a lot of DMs, a lot of text messages, a lot of phone calls lately, which is great. I welcome them all about this subject. So, does anybody have any questions? Felicia, you got any? Um, Gene, you got any? Brandon, anybody have any questions about of getting insurance on our family members or individuals that we have insurable interest in. Anything. Y'all, we've been here for 20 minutes. And look, I'm one person that completely understands the inability to sit still and be hyper because I'm that guy. Like, I cannot sit at a computer for an hour. I have to get up and move. So I think 20 minutes is good. So listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Hopefully, I'll share some information that's going to benefit you. I think I did. Um, Ben, he's in Mexico on a trip, so he won't be here. He's not here today, of course, but he will be here pretty soon. He'll be here probably back next week. All right. So, hi guys, I'm gonna jump off here again. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing y'all every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We'll talk about other hot topics in the insurance industry. If you caught just the tail end of it, remember this is gonna be recorded. Go back and watch it. Send me messages, DMs, all that stuff, and I can answer your questions. I actually look forward to hearing feedback. So, give me some feedback. Today, I kind of stood up and moved around and stuff. I just left the gym, so I'm still kind of sweaty. Y'all can see. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I look forward to seeing y'all soon, and y'all have an amazing night.